但係講起白露筍湯咧，我好想講個小故事咧。我啱啱入行去做廚房嘅時候咧。I do have a lot of questions about Italian cuisine today, and I do want to ask Chef.
Cooking is all about love. It's actually my grandfather's recipe, this one.
And you serve it in your restaurant?
Yeah.
今次咁嘅介紹餐廳咧，好多時都要搭埋餐廳個朵，講緊係我食呢間係咩幾多星米芝蓮啊，或者嗰個排名係幾多啊咁樣。咁但係咧，除咗米芝蓮同埋咩亞洲或者全球排名第幾之外咧，仲有一樣嘢咧叫做福布斯旅遊指南嘅。福布斯就係富豪榜嗰個福布斯啊。咁既然佢介紹得富豪咧，就梗係要介紹埋俾啲富豪聽去邊度住酒店啊，去邊度食飯啦。咁而福布斯旅遊指南咧喺香港入選到嘅咧，就只係得30幾間餐廳，而今日我哋去嘅咧就喺尖沙咀 Marco Polo Hong Kong Hotel 得到4星嘅意大利餐廳 Cucina 啦。雖然喺呢度食飯咧可以睇到維港嘅美景，夜晚甚至可以睇到呢個幻彩詠香江啊。咁但係咧呢個都唔係吸引到我嘅原因，而係咧因為今日可以同到咧正宗嘅意大利廚師咧 Cucina 嘅 Chef de Cuisine 咧 Andrea Del Seno 咧近距離接觸。咁加埋咧，知唔知而家係幾多月啦？而家係4月，或者我唔知條片出嘅時候係5月定係4月啦。咁但係知唔知4月係咩？4月就係3月之前，唔係3月之後嗰個月啦。咁即使咧係呢個白露筍啱啱開始嘅季節，今日嚟到咧，我當然係希望可以食到一啲白露筍嘅菜式啦。唔好再講咁多，真係入去同阿 Chef Andrea 咧傾下偈先。Hi, Chef Andre.
Hi,
Nice meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
It's such my pleasure to be here at Cucina at Marco Polo Hong Kong Hotel. And I heard, Chef, you've been in Hong Kong for 20 years?
Almost, yeah.
Almost 20 years?
Yeah,
And
so
how's your
fast.
Cantonese so far?
Quite bad still.
Because like for me, I actually haven't met a lot of Italian chefs because when I went to cooking school and when I was working, usually I meet more French chefs. So I do have a lot of questions about Italian cuisine today, and I do want to ask Chef. Well, first of all, because when people in Hong Kong, maybe we talk about it's Italian food, and then they think of pizza, they think of pasta. But just like maybe for Italian, when you say Chinese food, it's like Chinese food. But we all know like there are Cantonese food, there are Shanghainese food and different parts. Let's say in Italy, like when we say Italian food, actually what's the difference from let's say the southern part and the middle part? If you can give us a general picture, like what's the difference?
Yeah, sure, it's totally different actually. From the north part, like the food will be like more complex, they're more rich, because rich in taste, I mean, because quite more strong. Yeah,
Like
more like
salty, you mean?
yeah, like put more cheese in there, more healthy,
Yeah.
not that light, I would say, because like risotto, it's not, because it's quite cold, the weather, so that's why they like more like a stew meat, like a risotto also, and when you go down to the south part, the food are more simple, a lot of seafood, of course, and vegetables. Yeah, so they eat in totally different ways. In Italy, we have like almost 20 regions in there, and different regions provide different kind of food in base of what ingredients they find on that area. So how they actually comes out with this regional cuisine, because they use it what they have.
But you're from Piemonte.
Exactly, yes.
Piemonte is in the northwest side. I see. But how's the cuisine there?
The Piedmont is the northwest side, so it's very close to French border and Switzerland. So they got also kind of influence from Switzerland and France as well. And the south part is close to a region like Liguria, so on the seaside, which is the closest in the border. Everybody knows Piemonte about white truffle, right? Which is famous from Alba around on the world, right?
Yeah, and also the wine.
Barolo, Barbaresco, Nebbiolo,
exactly.
we have a lot of good wine. But beside that, many people don't know, we also have the best hazelnut in the world. They don't export because they're so small, the production, they keep it for themselves. So if you want to have the
real thing,
good one, you need to go
I
there.
have to go there.
Yes, or chocolate. They used to make chocolate with the hazelnut, which is called Gianduja chocolate. Yeah, and they make like baci di dama, those kind of cookies as well. Or also the beef is very famous in Piemonte. So we have this huge cow, which is white color, very heavy cow. It's called Fassona beef. This is the best beef which we have in Italy. It's very good beef, especially if you eat into raw way. It's very muscular, so it's no fat.
Yeah.
So it's suitable to eat as a raw, as a carpaccio or tartare. So one of the signature dishes you must try in Piemonte is a fassona beef tartare. Also Piemonte, we have a lot of mushroom as well. So porcini mushroom is one of the king there. That's why we have mushroom risotto. Mushroom risotto is a signature dishes in Piemonte. You won't find these dishes in the south part.
But since today I can talk to an Italian chef, I also want to ask this question for a really long time. I heard in Italy there are like maybe over 1,000 kind of pasta. Maybe in Piemonte there's the agnolotti,
Tagliolini.
tagliolini. You know, sometimes it's just hard
It's
to
difficult.
memorize all the names. But as an Italian, do like how many shapes of this pasta do you know? Or usually you just know the one like in your area?
I do know many type of pasta actually. We like to eat different shapes. Italian people go crazy with pasta, right? Every day you can eat pasta.
But it's not just because you're the chef, so you know more. Like,
No, everybody.
generally a lot of people would know.
Generally. Italian people eat pasta almost every day, I tell
Yeah.
you. So they like to change even different kind of shape of pasta every time to select different kind. I personally know many kind of pasta. I don't know, I think at least 100, but I think probably there is even 1,000 kind.
For
I don't
sure,
know.
for
There's
sure.
so many
Yeah.
different kind. It's very hard also for me sometimes to remember.
So it's all right for local Hong Kong people to just know about 10 of them.
Well, they know
Yeah.
the most popular one, but actually in Italy. It also is very difficult actually to remember because you know different kind of producer,
Yeah.
they call probably maybe the same pasta in the different name. Even like spaghetti, we have a spaghetti number 8, number 10, number
Yep,
9,
yep,
which
yep.
is mean the thickness. In
Yeah.
different region actually they speak different dialects. So probably in my region in Piemonte we call tagliolini. You go to the south, maybe they call tagliolini another name.
But do you think that's the reason why a restaurant in Hong Kong, they usually offer the more simple option, I would say. Let's say the spaghetti, fettuccine, or the penne. Like this one is the one that we usually see. But do you think that would be the reason? Like they don't try to go too crazy with the name?
First of all, well, that one is the most popular one, right? Because the spaghetti and linguine, it reminds a little bit the noodles. So people like Asian people, they go for it. They like that one, right?
Yeah,
So that's
you
why
don't need
they keep-
explanation and
Exactly,
everything.
they like that one. Like other different kind of shape, probably they don't know or they didn't try before.
As I said earlier, you've been in Hong Kong for almost like 20 years. What's your story? Like, why did you leave Piemonte to Shanghai, and then like at the end you came to Hong Kong and settled here?
Well, I always feel a bit boring actually in Piemonte for me.
Really?
Too quiet, you know. I used to work in this small village, actually in the Valle d'Aosta. That was my last place in Italy. It's in the mountain area, like 1,500 meters up to the sea. So I was feel boring. I also would like to discover, I would like to see the world, you know, as a young guy. I left when I was 18.
Now you have like family here and
Yeah,
everything.
but for me, I would like to see, discover new culture. You know, as a chef, also would like to see, taste new ingredients, new kind of food. So it's very good. I did the right choice, I think, and believe.
You didn't
I
regret
left in
it?
the right. No, at all. Actually, I would like to say, young people, they should live earlier. Don't wait too long. Go when you're young. So it's easy to move out. You know, to try different things. You don't mind. You know, stay without the family, but it's okay.
Actually, how did you feel back then? Because I think you said something like back then in Piemonte there wasn't any like Japanese restaurant and everything. So as an Italian chef, like when you were 18, moving to like Shanghai, like totally different culture. Like what's your feeling back then?
That was amazing for me. I mean, to see city big like Shanghai for the first time, you know. I never see those tall buildings, you know. I used to stay in Piemonte there in the Lange area, you know. Small
Little house,
little
small
houses,
house, like vineyard.
Always the same people, everybody know you,
Yeah.
you know, but there's nobody know you. So it's really amazing. I was very happy, not really scared actually.
You said like been here for a long time, and even with Cucina, it's almost like 10 years here. Like, how would you describe your style of cooking?
Generally, my cooking style is based on tradition. So my style is more based on fresh ingredients. So I really picky about my ingredients to find the best supplier and also to use the seasonal ingredients. So I believe the ingredients, the best time to have it is when they are in season. For me, besides searching for the best food available in the market, twisted a little bit in this modern way. That is actually my cooking style.
But chef, like, how often do you like introduce like new dishes to a menu? Because I know like you cannot just keep adding and then make a really big menu. But how do you decide, okay, when I put a new one or which one I will just like eliminate from the menu?
Depends actually how many we're selling. what is the feedback of our guests. I mean, if something which they really like it, we keep it in the menu, it become our signature. And then also we are actually changing our menu, seasonal menu every 2 months. We have a seasonal menu based on what we can find on season at that time. For the Set Lunch, every month we are doing also different kind of regional promotion menu.
And recently in April, it's the white asparagus season, right?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
And that's why you guys like made the menu just for that.
That's what I do for many years. Actually, white asparagus is one of the signature here in Cucina now. It's a must promotion to
People must
must come.
If you
yeah.
haven't been to Cucina, maybe it's a good time to start from there.
Exactly. Come to try the asparagus.
After such a long talk with you, like I think I learned more about Italian cuisine today, but I still want to learn how to cook the dishes. Is that okay if I follow you to your kitchen and I learn it?
Of course, prego, follow me.
Then let's go.
Thanks, Andy.
So what are you gonna show me today?
Andy, today I'm gonna show you how to cook this fantastic beef tripe. It's actually my grandfather recipe, this one.
Really?
So, yeah.
Oh my. And you serve it in your restaurant?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my God.
It's an a la carte menu. Yeah.
Can you show me how to do it?
Yeah, definitely. Here we have this boiled water. We're going to add all these spices, these different kind of ingredients here. So because the tribe, you know, a lot of the smell of this ammonia, so we want to remove that because this also is a stomach, so internal organs, right? So we need to blanch first. We put some juniper berry in there.
So in Italian cuisine, you use a lot of juniper berries?
We do use, yeah, especially in the winter time or when we do this kind of slow cooking, braise dishes, like maybe the game during the winter time.
The stronger taste.
The stronger
meat.
taste, exactly. Like the wild boar, you know, venison, these kind of things, pigeon, yeah. It's the cloves, yeah. Some black peppercorn and the bay leaves.
Just like Cantonese when we do the lo so, you know the lo
Is
so,
it?
yeah. We put a lot of spices in there.
5 spices. And then this is cinnamon, yeah. We put it all, yeah. And then we put our beef tripe inside. So they've been cleaned and then we slice it thick like this, yeah.
Okay.
Because we want to have those kind of texture.
So you don't want to cut it too small.
Exactly. We still want to have a nice bite, you know, when you eat it, yeah. And we will blanch it for about 20 minutes.
Okay.
So we really need to actually boil.
Because when I do the oven, like when we do the organ part, I usually would put some lemon or some acidity, maybe some vinegar. Yeah.
For us, we're using the white wine actually.
Oh, that's why.
Some white wine, a little bit white wine, because vinegar is a little bit too strong. So the white wine definitely can give a nice flavor in there. I know you do these dishes in the Chinese way, but use different spices. Instead, when you do the games, in that one you need to put some milk actually overnight to remove the strong. That's the way we do. Basically, this recipe I call it my grandfather style. Yeah. Because my grandfather used to cook this one almost every Sunday. Every time when we go to this in the mountain house, he cooked this tripe for us. And the difference between his style and the traditional is he's adding pasta into it. Because tripe, they can cook everywhere. And it's from the southern part to the northern part of Italy, but in different way. So normally in the northern part, they're using polenta because it's very typical in there. In the south part, they're using chickpea. My grandfather used to put pasta. My grandmother doesn't like polenta. We always have, you know, when in Italy, we always eat a lot of different kind of shape of pasta, right? So we always have this small little open packet in the kitchen, 10 grams there. So you combine it all together, and mix it together and put in there.
So chef, while we're blanching the tripe, like what are we gonna do now?
So now we're gonna saute some vegetables. We have some onions, celery, and carrot. Okay, onion because always give the sweetness. We use some olive oil. In this case, we use the one from Liguria because I like in Piemonte we do not have oil, but in Liguria, which is actually the region in the southern part, close to Piemonte, in the coast. So it's good because it's very fruity. And the oil from the south part is more strong in taste. Then we put some onion first. You can put a lot of onion, it's better because you really give a sweetness. Carrots and the celery. And it's very important to do this sofrito, to do that, to cook very slowly. Cooking is all about love. It's all about timing, you know. And then Italian cuisine is about love. Exactly. My grandfather, when he used to cook this one, it takes for him the whole morning actually. Since we arrive in the mountain, maybe 8 in the morning, and then we lunch 1. So you can imagine it's such a long time because we're using this wooden stove. the old style.
Wow.
Yeah.
The old school.
Yeah.
When we talk about like Italian culture, like the family bonding is really close, right?
Yeah, they used to live in the same building, so they used to live upstairs, be downstairs. So also
That's
very
why.
close.
Yeah.
I always stay with my grandmother, so that's why I learned how to cook as well. My parents, they go to work, they're busy at work, so whenever I was alone, I always stay with my grandmother, right? And now we removed the tripe. It's already been almost half an hour now. Remove all the water. We don't need this water.
You don't want to
because it's very
all the
strong.
bad taste are in there,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
Okay. And also the cinnamon taste, I think it's the most dominant taste now.
For cinnamon, you see, we don't use the powder, we use the fresh one, so later on we can remove it. Easily to remove it, will
I
not be
see.
broken, yeah. And we add some rosemary in there. Italian cuisine, we love to use herbs. I personally love, I have also a garden in Italy, and then with all the herbs, we just pick the fresh herbs. And then we add some seasoning, that's salt and pepper. And additionally, we're gonna put some chili flakes, yeah. This is also my grandfather's style. We like to give a little bit kick in the dishes, And then now we toast, cook a little bit until it becomes dry, you see, and get some color. So it gets the flavor of the vegetables. Very important. All these steps are very important. If you skip these steps, the result is not be the same. Same as when you make the soup, the same. Very important to stew the vegetable first. If you don't stew the vegetable, you just put the veg in there and water, you don't get the sweetness, you don't get the flavor in there, And then now it's ready, and then we're gonna add some white wine in there. We add the wine because we need to remove also a little bit the smell of the tripe. It gives some kind of acidity. We're using the white wine instead of the red wine because I have less tannin, so it's suitable for this long processing. And now we add the tomato. Tomato, we have these fresh tomatoes. You can use also the can, but the old tomatoes. And we add some tomato paste because it's more stronger, to give a more stronger flavor, more intense, concentrated flavor, right? And then now it's time to add the stock. So here I prepare some vegetable stock with some celery, carrot, onion, also pepper, a little bit salt and white wine.
Yeah.
So very simple. Every morning chefs prepare it. The first job to do it when you come in the kitchen is to put the
make
stock.
that.
Yeah, this one fish stock, all the base.
Yeah.
We put the vegetable stock and we just cover. Don't put
Don't
it
need too much,
No, you need to braise, not boil. Just like when you make risotto, the same. You just put a little bit ladle by ladle, just to cover the rice, that's it. You put down your fire, and then you leave it there for 2.5 hours. So my grandfather used to break the pasta by himself, but nowadays we can find this pasta which is called pasta mista. So many different kind of shape. I don't know how many is there, but definitely short pasta is good for this kind of things.
I see.
Yeah. So we don't put too many of pasta there, otherwise it become really a pasta. Yeah. You can cook directly the pasta in here is the best, so it can really absorb the flavor of the tripe. They also make the sauce thicker. And then now we keep adding some stock in there until the pasta is ready. So normally it takes around 10 minutes because we always like al dente, as Italian.
But would you say like now working in Hong Kong when customer order pasta, you would cook a little bit softer than your standard?
No, we're still doing the proper way. I asked the guests to try the al dente. I tried to convince them, to educate them as well.
Yeah,
And,
sure.
After they try, actually, they coming back to me and say, I would like to have al dente today. Make sure it's al dente for me. So the tripe now is ready, really nice. The pasta is done, al dente. And then before serving, we put some cheese. Direct in the pan, because you can use the heat of the pan to melt the
melt it
cheese.
as well.
Exactly, and then you serve to the table. Yeah.
And this is pecorino?
In this case, I like pecorino because pecorino is a little bit more salty compared to Parmesan cheese and flavorful because it's a mix, actually milk. They're using the sheep milk.
Sheep milk
together,
and
the cow.
Parmesan is cow, right?
Yeah. It's a little bit salty and nice together. Yeah.
Oh my god, it smells so good. I think like I'm
Thanks.
ready to eat. 頭先跟阿 Chef Andre 咧整嗰個牛肚同埋整嗰個牛面合意粉咧，咁佢而家上緊碟之前咧，佢就叫我咧不如試咗佢啲白蘆筍菜式先，因為咧其實咧白蘆筍咧佢嘅 season 係淨係由4月到6月嘅，咁幸運地咧呢期咧係可以試到佢呢個咁特別嘅 menu 咧，咁佢就話食咗呢啲淡味啲鮮味啲嘢，陣間先食翻佢嗰啲濃味嘅牛肚同埋意粉嘅。白蘆筍點解咁矜貴咧？即係佢比起平時我哋食嘅蘆筍咧。 咧，起碼都真係貴3-4倍。大家要知道白蘆筍同普通蘆筍個分別最大咧，就係其實白蘆筍咧佢係冇掂到陽光嘅，即係佢係喺啲泥土裡面生長，咁所以佢就係冇光合作用咧，所以佢就冇變咗綠色，而因為冇嗰啲葉綠素咧，佢食落去就唔會有嗰種青味啊，咁就有嗰個嘅清甜嘅味道喺度。咁而且咧，白蘆筍咧，你見到佢係真係即係我直接講，其實佢係粗碌好多，嗰個感覺咧比起平時嘅蘆筍咧，佢係你見到佢係真係多肉地好多。咁但係由於咧佢生長嘅時候喺泥土裡面咧，佢外皮咧係 tough 啲啦，咁所以一定要刨走晒表面咧，你先可以攞去煮佢。咁而且咧，即係白蘆筍咧，仲要係有分唔同嘅一啲嘅 grading，因為如果有一啲咧係細啲啊，或者可能係彎彎斜斜嗰啲咧，咁又會影響整體個價格。咁所以如果你見到佢係越靚仔越白色嘅咧，嗰啲就係越係上等貨啦。咁而今日咧，即係喺Cucina 呢度咧，你見到Chef Andre佢用咗幾個唔同方式去用呢個食材，咁啊真係用最基本嘅烚咗佢，再襯翻啲 Hollandaise sauce 啦，佢之後攞去打咗個湯啦，甚至係將佢加落去咧，做落一個嘅 risotto 嗰度都有。咁所以事不宜遲，我還翻個白蘆筍俾人先，係唔好搞咁耐。咁其實食一啲好嘅食材咧，即係講真係應該食翻佢個鮮味原味先。咁所以其實咧食一啲白蘆筍咧，永遠嗰啲 menu 咧都係一個好簡單嘅，就係白烚嘅白蘆筍，再配翻一啲 classic 嘅 Hollandaise sauce，咁已經係食到嗰個食材嘅鮮味。咁但係我真係好想講一樣嘢，當大家見到側邊有啲嘅火腿啦，都一定會叫佢一定跟啲 Parma ham。但好想講咧，火腿咧只係呢個叫 prosciutto 啦，咁但係唔一定係 Parma 嘅火腿嚟，即係真係唔好見到火腿就話 Parma ham，真係要了解下嗰個係咩 ham 先。咁啊，等我試下呢啲 in season 嘅白蘆筍先。你見到真係好筆直嘅。其實蘆筍嘅煮法真係好簡單，即係唔好話係白烚啦，但係嗰個湯裡面好多時就係會用話出面比較粗糙佢嗰啲皮咧，煲一個即係咁嘅蘆筍嘅湯頭啦。咁所以食落去其實你唔會覺得係加咗好多其他啲香料啊，唔會係好多 extra 呢啲味喺裡面。咁而食落去頭先有講就係話，因為冇嗰啲綠色嗰啲葉綠素嘅時候咧，冇咗平時嗰種草青味，但係咧蘆筍本身自己有一個獨有嘅一啲少少甘甘地，而佢仲有一種嘅清甜嘅感覺，同埋大家都知即係筍嗰種咧係爽爽啲嘅口感咧，係真係好好味。咁當然配埋一個 Hollandaise sauce 啦，咁裡面嗰啲油份啊，甚至係有少少嘅酸味啊，好簡單係已經可以帶到嗰個蘆筍嘅鮮味出嚟。甚至食落去咧，你會知道即係底部嗰啲再會澀啲嘅，但係可以食翻越上越頂咧，甚至真係食嗰個蘆筍嗰個頭啊，就係最甜嘅地方。所以睇下你係想先甜後苦定先苦後甜，咁我就會建議咧喺個底度慢慢食落去咧，你就越食就會覺得咧越嚟越甜咧，你覺得好正。咁當然想要啲鹹鮮味咧，就可以加翻啲 prosciutto 落去啦。雖然我未食另外兩個嘅白蘆筍嘅菜式啦，但係你問我咧，其實我真係好中意係淨係就咁樣去 blanch 嘅食法。咁試完原味，試完鮮味咧，咁我就不如試下個湯先。咁呢一個咧就係一個白蘆筍湯啦，而裡面咧就係一隻係用65度 sous vide 嘅溫泉蛋。咁表面咧仲見到係有一啲切到好碎嘅 black truffle 喺度啦。咁所以其實聞落去咧，喺呢一刻其實係black truffle 嘅味係為主嘅。咁但係下面嗰度咧就係白蘆筍嘅湯。但係講起白蘆筍湯咧，我好想講個小故事咧，就係我啱啱入行去做廚房嘅時候咧，我第一日翻工咧被委派去嘅角色咧就係刨白蘆筍啊！我係將成盤嘅白蘆筍咧刨到岩岩慘慘，主廚嚟到咧即係當然俾佢鬧啦。我原本都好驚，我係覺得哇，我係咪嘥咗成兜可能幾千蚊嘅貨啊？咁但係即係佢都鬧完我之後，佢都好理性，就係話冇辦法啦，咁唯有嗰啲白蘆筍冇理由抌啦，就攞咗嚟打湯。當年咧我就對呢個白蘆筍湯咧係入咗腦啊，就係覺得我以後唔可以再犯呢啲咁低級嘅錯誤。喂，但係真係好誇張喎！喺講佢個白蘆筍之前，佢嘅黑松露咧係切咗勁多俾我諗緊係佢真係平時都有咁多，定係專登俾咁多？你試一試佢先。裡面仲有一啲切咗粒粒嘅白蘆筍喺裡面。我原本諗住係撈埋嗰隻蛋落去啦，點知當65度嘅時候咧，其實嗰個蛋咧係一個啱啱半熟嘅狀態。咁你就有一個係蘆筍嘅爽嘅口感啦，一個好 creamy 嘅湯啦，再食落去咧有一個蛋黃嘅口感喺嗰度。仲有個 crunchy 嘅煙肉啊！呢個湯係滿足嘅喎， 係開心喎。咁當然一個意大利餐廳咧，又點可以唔試一個 risotto 一個意大利飯咧？咁呢個係充滿住海鮮啊！你見到真係數得出嘅我都見到啊，有帶子啊、八爪魚啊、蜆啊、青口啊，仲有蝦添，仲有明太子添，數極都仲有。咁當然撥開咧，就仲有今日呢個嘅主角之一，就係呢個白蘆筍。今次聞落去係仲要有一個海鮮味，即係我相信應該 chef 都係一路加啲海鮮湯餵落嗰個嘅飯裡面。嗰個口感咧，我以為當一個真正意大利廚師煮嘅時候會係硬好多啦。咁但係我又覺得係比我想象中冇嗰個話咩中間仲要有啲生米嘅感覺，有冇？完全係熟透喎。即係但係又冇係 overcook 到你覺得變咗好似粥咁樣，即係當然冇啦。正宗意大利廚師又點會失手呢啲菜式？試完頭先白蘆筍嘅菜式咧，當然就係要試我頭先跟阿 Chef Andrea 咧學整嘅兩個菜式。咁我已經係等咗好耐，因為我真係好想試呢一個嘅牛肚。呢個嚟自佢嘅 grandpa， 即係我冇問清楚係佢爺爺定佢公公嗰邊。不過咧，嗰件事係頭先話我加埋嗰啲碎碎嘅意粉落去咧，雖然唔係一個係哇完全你從來冇諗過嘅嘢，但係確實好似喺街度啊，真係未試過有一個咁嘅菜式俾我叫，因為永遠都係淨係牛肚就係牛肚咁樣。咁仲要係有份參與去煮嘅時候，我好想知個味道出嚟係點。嗰個硬度係啱啱好，因為我諗大家都知，其實就算你去食點心啊，有時食可能金錢肚嗰啲，有啲都會係可能煮得太耐咧，係入口已經好似就快爛晒，即係完全冇咬口。咁但係當然喺呢度，阿 chef 煮過咁多次咧，完全係控制得非常之好。仲要你喺度食嗰啲牛肚咧，中間係攝住嗰啲係即係細細粒嘅意粉喺裏面咧。即係你淨係食呢一個嘅感覺咧，係有啲似我嗌一個牛肚意粉，但係極少意粉，但係我主要係食肉嘅，即係類似係一個咁嘅 concept 咧，就覺得哇呢個菜式係好開心。試埋個慢煮嘅牛面盒意粉先，其實慢煮嚟講我都完全對佢嗰個硬度咧係冇質疑嘅，一定係最 perfect 噶啦。佢哋煮到咧，仲係偏係仍然有咬口嘅，因為牛面蝦咧，有時一煮得耐咧，有啲人會講話係入口即溶，但係嗰種個感覺我自己就唔係特別中意。但係呢個唔係，呢個係即係你見我而家吉落去都仲係好實淨嘅，入口嘅時候都係好輕易可以咬爛啦，但係仲有個口感咧，呢個其實係一個我比較中意嘅狀態。咁再配埋呢個咧，唔係咁常見嘅意粉款式啦。咁頭先即係見到 chef 係烚到佢差唔多80%啊咁樣，就再擺埋落個汁度咧。咁見到佢真係索到係連嗰個粉咧，你都見係嗰啲牛肉汁係已經入晒去。當然係食嗰意粉先更加食到嗰個菇味啊，個松露味，因為嗰個係喺個汁裡面啊。咁所以慢慢係索晒落個粉裡面。咁而牛嗰個因為始終大部分時間係淨係主要用嗰啲紅酒啊、demi glace 啊同埋啲蔬菜煮，所以當成件事咁樣一齊食咧，即係嗰個味道係好滿足，係好 full body 嗰個感覺。咁所以點解真係要用翻咁上下量嘅黑松露落去咧，你先食到嗰個松露嘅味道？即係件事係真係好 match。今日可以同 Chef Andrea 咧咁近距離傾偈咧，我覺得係一件幾有趣嘅事，因為我自己以前真係唔係成日都遇到一啲意大利廚師，咁同埋就算以前做嘢咧都唔係好多時間可以傾偈，而我覺得意大利嘅菜系裏面其實係好多啲嘅迷思咧，即係我今日都可以面對面咁樣問佢咧，而佢可以解答到咧，我都覺得呢個感覺係幾有趣。而喺廚房咧跟佢學煮嘢食嘅時候咧，我覺得嗰招咧即係用嗰啲即係唔同形狀剩低嗰啲 pasta 咧，呢一招真係好用。我以後燜呢個咖喱牛腩嘅時候咧，我都會抌晒我剩低嘅嗰啲麵落去，咁樣咧就係一個意大利 style 嘅咖喱牛腩啊。同埋咧，我覺得係即係可以食到白蘆筍呢樣嘢，係真係要同大家去宣揚下。白蘆筍呢個季節咁短暫，就好比呢個黃昏啊，你明唔明白啊？短暫但係好美好，但係你一過咗之後咧，你就只係可以翻去食翻普通蘆筍。如果你哋係會覺得 enjoy 即係想食到呢個咁短暫得2個月嘅 window 嘅呢樣嘢咧，即係真係好好地把握呢個時間。而且今日咧 Cucina 呢度咧，即係我都會覺得佢係。我又唔想用隱世呢個字，因為始終其實即係尖沙咀呢個地段都係一個比較旺嘅地區。但係講緊係有正宗意大利 chef， 甚至阿 Chef Andrea 咧，其實佢個 background 都真係好犀利。即係以前喺即係 Sabatini 啊，甚至係做過一啲再以前喺一啲星級餐廳嗰度做過。即係我會覺得喺呢度可以揾到一間性價比咁高，而且仲要 咁靚嘅維港美景咧，即係通常一有呢啲景嘅地方咧，嗰啲餐廳都係貴到無倫啦。但係呢度嚟講，喂，嘢食又好，景又靚嘅時候咧，仲要真係講真，我淨係泊架車喺出面已經可以行到入嚟。即係我覺得呢啲元素加埋晒咧，我絕對係即係真心去推介 Cucina 呢間餐廳。所以過去一段時間啲拍一啲片就係去講下啲飲食知識啊咁。我自己都好希望係嚟緊咧，再有一個系列嘅 YouTube 片咧，就係可以即係同啲 chef 去傾下偈，喺佢哋身上度學到更多無論係佢哋家鄉菜式又好，或者本地一啲 chef 佢哋可能自己嘅故事啊，或者佢哋嘅一啲經驗，即係就係做翻係一啲 YouTube 片嘅咯。即係呢個係我都幾想做到一個系列。咁希望大家可以繼續支持呢個即係品味解碼嘅算係外勤篇啦，即係出去一啲餐廳度試食嘅去學嘢嘅一個系列啦。咁啊當然中意嘅記得真係支持下 like share 俾更多嘅朋友知道。咁啊有啲咩嘅問題啊想法咧，真係歡迎你哋寫喺 comment 嗰度。咁我哋下次再見。